Good evening. I'm Helen Mirren, and you're watching Documentary Now, Season 50. Some rock bands endure for decades, others are gone in an instant. But every so often, that instant creates music that lasts forever. Please enjoy tonight's film, Gentle and Soft, the story of the Blue Jean Committee.
Hey, we're the Blue Jean Committee!
Gonna dance around the city, sing a song just like a southern melody. Mama, you're a dancer.
A band like Blue Jean Committee, that only comes once in a lifetime.
Those were amazing shows, and the people that are there really mark the times in their life by the time they spent watching the Blue Jean Committee.
For the 2 years that record was popular, it was like Fleetwood Mac Rumors. Every song was a single, and every single was great.
I was completely blown away by that record. We'd all tried to capture that thing, but they really got it. That was the quintessential California record.
Catalina Breeze, a fantastic album of the 70s. In that moment, they were on top of the world.
The sonic quality of the music is real tranquil and placid and relaxing, and it is really in conflict with their actual relationship, which was extremely bombastic and aggressive.
As sisters, you know, we love each other, and like when we listen to that music, like we feel the love. Like there was love there at one point. Like, you know, you can't make music like that and not, you know, love each other.
Soft.
Morning. You know, all the pictures and everything in the magazines I used to read, and to be in them, that's really something. You go, well, you know, there's someone I admire, and that what's my mug doing in there? So that was really nice, and it's very thankful for every moment that someone said something nice. It meant a lot to me.
When the camera's here, right?
So it was a good feeling. My name is Gene. I live in Chicago, and apparently you guys are interested in talking to me about the Blue Jean Committee.
Yeah, it's a glamorous job. You know, you do it for the love of it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Clark, you know. I mean, to be honest, I haven't thought about him in quite a few decades.
Perfect.
I've got a lot of good memories, but as far as, you know, thinking about what Clark is like, but it's been a long time since I've really thought about him. I haven't seen him in a long time.
When we got this house in '98, it's my money. I bought all this. I bought all these guys out. I'm trying to buy that guy out. Because see how his telephone pole is obstructing my view of the ocean? If you're sitting here, I can't see the ocean from here. So I gotta knock all that out. Fame it's nice. I mean, fame is a good thing. You know, I live here, got my nice house. It's all been worth it. When I look at what I've got, I say, thank God I thought up this Blue Jean Committee thing.
They had such a sound. I remember the first time I heard it, I was driving down PCH, top down, heard this thing. It was like nothing I'd ever heard before, and yet everything about California all at the same time. They somehow captured everything we'd all been after. And I was blown away. I said, where the heck did this music come from?
Well, I'm Chicago born and bred. People always said I was a bit of a handful, which was probably a nice way of saying I was a little dickhead. My pop was the foreman at the old Vienna beef factory over on North Damon.
My parents both worked at Schwenke's Sausage and Rendering. That's where they met. Schwenke's is the best. Mom did quality control. She took it real serious, and my dad worked on the line. He was a packer. I used to play with the hairnets to bring them back home, but mostly I liked playing music. My earliest memories were loving all the doo-wop groups. This is going back a long ways, you know. Doo-wop is, it's not just oldies, it's ancienties. So me and Clark, we met at Sausage School, and we knew each other from, you know, the hallways and stuff. I saw him here and there, and I think he was kind of a troublemaker.
I was on the wrestling team, Pee Wee state champ, 102-pound division, 3 years running. Thank you.
In school, I'd play little assemblies and stuff, and I'd play for everybody, and I'd play Glad All Over by the Dave Clark 5.
You know, and I loved being on the wrestling team. Wrestling team was a great thing, but what the problem was, I started noticing that the guys with the guitars were getting more chicks than the guys in the team, which, you know, I didn't like.
So one day, Clark finally comes up to me, first time he'd said anything to me, and he says, hey, you're in my group now.
I don't think there was one moment when Gene and I decided to become a band, to be honest with you. It happened very organically.
I said, okay, we're in a group now. Can I go down the hall? He says, no. We're in a group now, starting now. I said, okay. So we dropped out of Sausage School to play music.
Mom and Dad didn't like the music thing. You know, now they're little Eugene Skrocheski as Gene Allen, and he's singing all these ootsy tootsy songs to a bunch of dopers on the north side. Me and my gal pals thought it was pretty cool, though. I think Doreen Brzezinski blew him, or at least a tug job of some kind took place there.
First time I heard Gene and Clark, I was just coming out of Philadelphia and was living in New York and traveling, just starting to tour all over the world. I wouldn't call it a brand new sound, but it was so much of its time. And I was going, okay, man, these guys, I think maybe they have a future.
Me and Clark, we just went out and we played, you know, open mics and diners and pizza places and whoever would have us.
And so we gotta find a recording studio. We gotta, you know, where are we gonna do this at? In Chicago, there wasn't a lot of places. So I booked us some studio time in this little place over on the north side, Capstone Studios.
The original Capstone Studios was opened in 1967, at the corner of Clyburn and Halsted.
No, it was Halsted and North.
No, it was right there where Clyburn does that little jog. It's where it's FedEx Kinko's now.
FedEx Kinko's is 1 block up on Halsted and Clyburn. We were 1 block down on Halsted and North, where the Boston Market is now.
There's not a Boston Market at the corner of Clyburn and
North.
North.
Now, no, but there was one, and now it's a, what do you call it, a Panera Bread Corporation.
The Panera Bread is at the corner of Clyburn and Halsted, and that is a fact. Case closed. Next subject.
There's a pretty funny story about where the name comes from. You know, the Blue Jean Committee?
We saw Easy Rider, and we thought, well, that's kind of a good look. We should wear some blue jeans, look like some, you know, regular guys, but still with some style. So we went to Marshall Fields, and we got
what they now refer to as a Canadian tuxedo, right?
A bunch of dungarees and jeans, and it looked pretty good.
So we stroll into our first session at Capstone, all excited.
So these guys walk in, and I says, who sent you, the Blue Jean Committee?
I just go, kabap.
Just punched him. You know, right in the mouth.
Put me in the hospital.
Completely flattened his nose, gave him a concussion?
Yeah, nerve damage. I'm still numb from here to here.
The funny thing is, a couple days later, Clark comes into the same exact room, and he says, you know, we should call ourselves the Blue Jean Committee.
He had a point. I mean, what can I say? I mean, when you're right, you know. Gene had this vision for this album that really transported people to Chicago.
I wanted people to really feel Chicago and smell Chicago, and we just wanted to be a good Chicago blues band, let's put it that way.
Can I get a couple of beers. Hey, miss. Should tune that up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So we cranked out 2 records, Lickety Split, our debut, St. Stanislaus Matinee.
Hey, miss, can I get a beer and then a couple of beers? Hey, miss.
Then in February of '72, put out 221 Pulaski Parkway. We had Wind Off the Lake and Goodbye Dan Ryan. Lip Service, that's about mustaches.
Lip service. Watch out for that lip service. Uptown, downtown, everybody's steaming. In the outskirts and in the inskirts, everybody's steaming.
And it tanked, big time.
It tanked, you know, and we had financed it ourselves. That's the hard part.
We were out of cash, up to our eyeballs, and remaindered LPs.
I think it hit Clark pretty hard.
Oh, things got bad. Clarky holed himself up in this little apartment over at Wabash and Cullerton, tried to drink himself to death.
Wabash and Cermak.
Cullerton, we're not going through this again.
I went to a dark place, man. Drinking and drugging, I was paying for sex. I'm walking out of Benny's with a 12-year-old style when I saw the most beautiful sight. I saw 2 seagulls cruising along. It got me thinking about the ocean and the sand and beach balls and, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, for the first time in a while, I felt good. It wasn't until I sobered up that I realized that the birds were pigeons, but you know, who gives a shit? I mean, it's a better story with seagulls.
Then Clark called me and said, we're gonna have a meeting. He says, you know what? Chicago. I said, nobody says Chicago. He says, California. We're gonna be a California band.
California was the vibe, you know, feeling the breeze and the air and the sun on your skin, you know, that kind of shit, you know? Write music about that. It's not that hard.
You know, people often mention how the Beach Boys didn't surf, and they sang all these songs about surfing, you know? I mean, I think it's an interesting analogy to the Blue Jean Committee, who wrote about living in California while residing in Chicago.
California, I said. You know, we're not even from there. I don't know what to, you know, what are we gonna write about? Hills and grapes? Wine? I don't know. I knew beer and blues.
The fact of the matter is no one gave a shit about Chicago. I mean, we're not making any money. Everything was about California at the time. I mean, that's just where the money was.
So then Clark says he'll write the songs if he has to. I mean, we had nothing. We had no songs and no album. So we're, you know, stuck on an island in a way. We're just stuck out there in Chicago with some kind of half-baked plan. And then what changed everything was meeting Alvin Izoff. That name means a lot. And when you're hungry in the music business, that's who you want to talk to.
He was the biggest manager in the world at the time. If anybody can make this happen for us, it was gonna be him. He was California music.
Yeah, Izoff, I'd call him a world-class asshole for sure.
Clark had gotten a tip from a pal of ours who worked at O'Hare. He was a skycap. Alvin Izoff, he'd been coming into Chicago. He's trying to sign Peter Cetera. Clark got an idea that we should camp out at Terminal 3. Just wait. And we just waited.
I leave baggage claim at O'Hare Airport. I hop in the back of my limo. Suddenly, the door flings open, and this lunatic hops in waving a cassette tape.
He was scared shitless. He's a little guy. Little guy. He said, "Who are you?" And I go, "I'm your next star. Shut up. Listen to the tape." I had my forearm on his neck like that.
Gets in my face and says, "Teach me how to be a California pansy."
Then we hit him with our vocal warm-up, which was on the tape.
Boy, could they sing.
And you could just see in his eyes, the guy saw money. You know what I mean?
My big thing was reinventing a band's image. The band Shreveport, remember them? I totally changed their look. The whole California thing, however, was a major issue.
You gotta remember, we'd never even been there.
I gave up after about 6 hours. I said, F it, let's just fix the wardrobe.
Word on the street was when me and Gene had gone vegetarian.
Which was not true.
And in Chicago, that's a death sentence, you know.
You can get away with insulting a lot of things in this city. 'Cause we're a liberal town.
Yeah, but don't insult the sausage.
Then my cousins caught wind of it, and they went bonkers and firebombed my apartment. Almost killed me and the girl I was banging at the time. I mean, it was nuts.
Yeah, that was a scary time. It's the first time in my life I ever wanted to get out of Chicago. And that was the key to everything.
And so we had a hole up in the studio. It was the only place we were safe, which was a weird blessing in disguise, because that let Gene, this little dweeb mind of his, was able to come up with something, and that became the Catalina record.
Every song on that record is incredible. Yeah. Every single one.
I mean, like, now it's like everyone talks about, like, what are the singles on your record? I mean, every song on that record could have been a single.
Was a single.
I mean, it's like, I don't even know how they chose.
Monday night, we roll tape.
You know, Alvin's trying to mess with our clothes and our look and everything. I thought, what about the sound? I love music and I want to break down what that sound is. I found it, the harmonies and the vibe of the whole thing, and somehow the lyrics were there too.
Wise men say if you want to know a man, walk a mile in his shoes.
You know, what's crazy is it was so fast. You know, it was one night, you know, and we were exhausted, and Gene just wouldn't stop.
They recorded 6 #1 hits in 72 hours.
Not just the hits, but like the whole record.
Weather gets rough, yeah. Strap him on, lace him up, put on my walking shoes.
The songs just started coming. It was like Gene had flipped a switch.
Walking shoes. She's going to Hollywood.
Montecito Memories, you got Hibiscus.
That old Funny Feeling.
Satin Symphony.
Gentle and Soft.
Gentle, I mean.
All career-making songs.
Yeah.
And I needed something that distinguished me from everybody else, not just in the BJC, but everybody else in the game.
So we were laying down vocal harmonies, you know, a standard issue way. As a singer sings a fifth, he sings a seventh, but it sounds like everybody else, nothing unique in that.
No, and then Clark found his own thing. It was magical. It was like a signature sound.
I don't know, I just kind of bear down and I get up there. I can sing pretty high, you know.
It seemed as if it was being sung by a woman, or maybe not even a woman, like a really young, very waifish, small girl.
Didn't want to let Clark hear that.
No, you don't let him hear that. You'd have a boot up your ass real fast.
Falsetto is a very phallic form of singing. It's very manly. It's very, got a lot of confidence, got a lot of strength.
Catalina Breeze. That's one for the ages. It's just the perfect album for that time. It summed up all our lives.
1, 2, 3, 4.
DB says you got them high-class blues. Seems the caravan to Aruba is not the road that you would choose. A Boston intellectual, a master's degree in small talk, and going to the movies. Catalina, be Catalina. Catalina, be Catalina.
Catalina Breeze, that's a song for the ages.
I suppose in retrospect, it's predictable that this was going to self-combust when you have one guy in the band doing everything and the other guy just singing high.